hello to everybody. Good morning. And this is going to be a Susie's art session. It's going to last about an hour or more, okay, for you to achieve this. This is your time to enjoy and relax and just have a bit of you time. We don't have enough you time in this society. So here's a learning curve for anyone who hasn't. Okay, Jacob, who's our fantastic technician, could you put the, yeah, that's great. Okay, so we're going to do a jellyfish. Okay, this is one that I did before. I want to improve this. Okay, I was looking at it and I couldn't understand what was wrong with it. Okay, I'm sure Karen Morrissey would come up with why it's not like it is. But there you go. So it kind of looks like a squid, I think. And then I went on to look at lots and lots of jellyfish, and the reason that it does is because out of this, these tentacles should be coming out of the side of it. So that's what we're going to do, okay, is put them at the side. So I'm going to do another one, yeah? But what we're going to start with today is the mushroom shape. They are like a mushroom shape, okay? We're going to do what's called wet on wet, okay? So what that is it's wet paper and then you have a wet brush, okay? So I'm going to start again, put that to one side, leave that kind of there-ish, so we can kind of see it. So what I'm going to start with, blank piece of paper obviously, is I want to get a mushroom shape, and in that mushroom shape, I definitely want to have a piece that's going like this in it. Can you see that? Whee. There we go. Yeah, so I definitely want a piece that goes round like that so that it looks mushroom shape, it looks 3D, okay? So you must have that point, okay? Well, I will show you what the wet on wet is. This is your first part, okay? So I've got all my brushes. I'm going to use a brush about that size, okay? And this one comes to a point, okay? It comes to a point, yeah? If you can see that, yeah. And that point means that I can get into this corner, okay? If you find it difficult with a bigger brush, use a littler brush to do that part, okay? So what's called wet on wet. So I'm going to wet the paper and then I'm going to put the pigment in or the colour. So very wet, very, very wet. So basically it is just water. Now I put a little bit of pigment in my water just so I can see what I'm doing, yeah? I want it round about here-ish, okay? So I sort of have a look and see what I'm doing first. Okay, so wet on wet. You won't probably be able to see this. Okay.
Just see the reflection there, actually.
Can you see them? Good, good.
Somebody's asking, it's not a round brush, is it? It's just it is a slight.
No, it's a slightly pointed.
Yeah.
It's a slightly pointed brush.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Okay.
Lovely.
Which I'm filling completely up with water. And like I said, I'm putting a bit of pigment in it because I just can't see otherwise what I'm doing. Maybe a bit more pigment. Yeah, if you can see that, that's probably better. Okay, so I'm making the shape of the mushroom top. With just water. little bit of pigment so I can see. So the paper is pretty much, it's soaking, where I'm going to do the mushroom top of it. Okay. It's quite nerve-wracking actually doing it like this. I'm sure I'd be more relaxed if I wasn't, but there you go. Okay, if I can show you that. Okay, so there's my sort of mushroom shape. And then I am going to get the colours that I particularly like, okay? You can do this in any colours that you like, yeah? Of course, the background's going to be a greeny black, a greeny blue, but this can be any colours you like, so choose your favourite, yeah? Mine happens to be a purple kind of colour, so I'm just going to dot it. And if you can see, that is going to spread out, yeah? Okay. And it will come out different than the last one because I'm going to use different colours, okay? Yeah. I'm going to use yellow. It's a bit dirty. Bright yellow in it. Again, I'm going to kind of dot it and push it down. And what will happen is that the watercolours will merge into each other. Makes it lovely. You can merge them. As you merge them, always make sure that you're going up like this, as following the mushroom shape. And I'll have a third colour, I think. Sort of a very bright red, nearly sort of orangey colour. Make that a bit more watery. Okay, so it's a bit that's gone over. So I'll just stamp that off. That's another good thing with watercolours. Okay, I've got a splat that I don't want. Okay, what I'm going to do is fill my brush with water, with clean water. Got to be clean. All right, I'm going to get it on there so it's all watery, and I can just dab it off. Okay, not too worried about that because I'm going to paint there anyway. Okay, so this is what I am left with. Yeah, so I'd like you all to go away, yes, and do that if you haven't been doing that already. Fill it in with me. If you could go away and do that, I think I might just actually bring this down just a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So off you go for 10 minutes and I'll show you the next bit later. Okay, just bringing it down a bit. There we go, that's better. Okay, have fun. what I've done is we are doing a jellyfish, okay? It's not going to be exactly like that because I'm going to improve it. The first thing to do is to do the top of your jellyfish, okay? You can choose whatever colours you like, your favourites. This is mine, so this is the sort I've done wet on wet, which means that you wet the paper until it's absolutely soaking. You might want to put a little bit of pigment in it first so you can see what you're doing. So you wet it completely and then you put the colours on with a wet brush. Okay, so that's wet on wet. And that's the sort of thing that you should come out with. Sorry, that's a bit, oh dear. Very good at this, am I?
That's good, Susie.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
good.
so you come out with something like that, okay, at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. You're to get points at the edges of this because it's going to be 3D. Yeah, so it's like a mushroom. Okay, it's like a mushroom. So we want the 3D part which goes down there. Okay. Right. Okay. So the next bit that we're going to do is we're going to do the part that's sort of not the tentacles, but the let's put it back there, but the part that's underneath it. Okay. You can hardly see it on this one, and this again is the improvements that you can make, because most artists will do 2 to 3, if not more, pre-paintings before they actually do their end one, the one that they actually like. So we're going to do the inside of this, the inner bit, which is like the mushroom stalk, I suppose, is what I could say it is. Okay, now, again, it's going to be wet on wet. So that's wetting your paper and with a wet paintbrush. I've got some water that's got some pigment in it just so I can see what I'm doing again. Okay, so before I start, I'm going to put my fingers, so I'm sort of going to go about there-ish. Yeah, this is always good to do. Yeah, so that you kind of know what you're about. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to do wet. Now, I don't want this wet part to touch that wet part because it will merge, and I don't want it to merge because it's inside that's coming out like the stalk of this of the mushroom, croissant or whatever. Okay, so make sure I don't touch. Yeah. And then a great big bit down here. I think it's going to come out a bit wider. I'm not sure. I don't think you can just see the shine, can't you, whilst I'm doing this? Yeah, you'll have to put up with that because that's all I can give you until I actually fill it in with pigment. Okay, lots of water. All the way to the bottom. And on the sides, they should be sort of roundy, wavy kind of things. Will look better, will look more lifelike, even though this is not an actual, you know, it's not a, this isn't a representation of a jellyfish rather than actual one, because you can do it in any colour, you know, and it looks fantastic, I think. Okay, so I don't know whether you can see this. Let's have a look. Nearly, can't you? Okay. So fill it absolutely all in. Make sure you haven't got any bits that haven't got any water. Okay, so that's my stalk, if you like. Now I'm going to fill it with some colours. So I'm going to use the same colours, but as I do, I'm going to sort of make sure that's quite a lot of colour. Make sure that it comes right to the bottom in a streak, if you like. Look at that, it's beautiful. So orangey, I want yellow. Purple, which I might make a bit lighter maybe, not sure. Purple. Yeah, and then I'm just going to keep on putting the colours in, those three colours, till they merge all together. And you can watch me do it till the end, but if you've got the idea, you can start away. Okay. Okay, we'll go on to the next part now, which is filling in here, okay, and here, yeah, and again, it's wet on wet. Please don't get it anywhere near the other paint, okay, because it will just merge with it otherwise, okay. So I'll do another wet on wet, so I shall wet the paper, making sure you can use a littler brush if you feel unconfident of it, okay. Okay, so I'm going to do this part, which you have to be a bit delicate with. And this part. Okay. Now, inside a jellyfish, I think can be any colour. Again, I'm going to use these colours that I have already. I'm not going to change it. Feel free to if you want to. It's all an experiment at the moment. Okay, so tiny bit of orange. A bit of purple. And some yellow. And you can see those colours merging already. Okay, I shall put it nearer to the camera. Oops. No. Okay, that's about as close as I can get. Okay, so that's what you should be doing now. I'm going to get a smaller brush. Again, it's pointed, tipped. Yeah, because I really want to get into those corners. Now the next part is all of this has to dry before we can actually go on to the next part. So, Gordon, go and have a cup of tea. Yes, and all of you go and have a cup of tea for I think 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and see if it's actually dried. You can cheat and put a hairdryer on it actually, if you want to. But so 15 minutes and then we'll come back. Okay. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed your cup of tea. Nice tea break. Very civilized. So what we're doing now is we're going to do the background. Okay, so what I did for the background was, I will try and put that, you can't really see the green. Oh, how funny, green doesn't come out. Okay, what I did for the background was I did dry on wet, which means that the paper's dry, but my paintbrush is wet. Okay, so my paintbrush only is wet, and it should be quite wet, quite filled with water, and have quite a lot of pigment in it actually, or colour. Yes, and what we'll do is we'll paint it all in a block colour, yeah, of blue. Then we'll add a bit of green. Oh, that's gone off again. Why is that gone off again? Excuse me, technical error. Oh dear me. Okay, I'll leave that. So we'll do it all in one block colour of blue, and then at the bottom we will do a darker blue, which will make it, even though you can't really see it, it makes it sort of, because it's a darker blue, it sort of grounds it, is the only way I'm going to say it. On most, every artist even in when you get to extraordinary paintings, you know, that you can't make out what they are, you will see that they will probably have put the darker colour or the bigger shape at the bottom, yeah, because it's just more pleasing to the eye. Okay, so big block colour of light blue, yeah, big block colour of dark blue. Then we're going to do dabs of green wherever you want. Okay, I've put dabs of green so it goes behind here, not that you can see it very well, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so it looks like this is more 3D. This is in the foreground and the greeny bit is sort of in the background. You can't see that. You will be able to see it when I show you. Okay, okay, so I shall go ahead because this is all dry, mine's dry. And what I'm going to use in this is I'm going to use what's called a mop brush. Okay, so this is quite a big brush, and they come sort of in all sizes. That's an even bigger mop brush. I might use that as well for the big areas and use this for the smaller ones. Okay, and it's just so I can get a lot of colour on there. So I'm going to start off with a big mop brush. So you're going to use quite a big brush for this. This is a, oh, it's American. This is 3/4. I don't know what that is in English. Okay, sorry about that. But you know, sort of these two is good. Yeah, but you shall see, you shall see. Okay, so I think my sky blue, which is this one, can be a bit darker actually, because it's not a sky, it's sea. Yeah, maybe go even a bit darker. That. Sorry, should have done it beforehand, didn't realise. I'm human. Okay, hope we've got enough paint. And on the top, great big swathes in it. Actually, it's quite. No, decided it should be lighter, so I'm just putting my paintbrush in the white. Yeah, making sure I don't get on the edge of there. Oops. Whoops, nearly went on the edge of there, didn't I then? Okay. And I have. Always good to have a paper towel or a nice cloth near you. Ugh. Okay. Need more paint. My paper's bowing, even though it's good paper, it's actually bowing already. So that just goes to show really do need good paper. Really shouldn't try to do this quickly. It's hard to do it when you know other people actually are watching you. Believe you me. Oh. I don't know whether you can hear my cats coming in the cat flap. Thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to get my little mop. And just go closer. And I've messed it up there and there. Oh, good. Let's see, that's from hurrying. Dear. There we go, that's off, good. That's off. It's always good to make mistakes because if you know how to repair them, it's a learning curve. So we'll get closer in here. Right, really shouldn't hurry. Dear. Kind of drying a bit already, which we don't want. Okay, then at the bottom, I'm going to do, like I said, a darker blue, which you can't really see. Isn't that dark? Okay, that's it. There we are, a few spots at the top. Now, I'm just going to add a bit of green. I think I want a dark green though, actually. This green's better. Okay, so, do I like that? Yeah. So green behind here. Green in here just to match it up. what this green looks like. Oh, it's quite nice. Add that in. The other greens, why not? Just makes them all a bit more interesting. And I can honestly say that I think my blue has dried up. So I'm just going to add a bit more. Good. Okay, so you can leave it like that if you wish. I mean, it looks quite nice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scrunch up my cloth and I'm going to dab it gently, okay, so that you get another sort of aspect. And I think it looks quite nice. I think it looks sort of what can I say, more sea-like. Yeah, let's go with that. See, that blue's dried out already. Yeah, yeah, and so is that. Clean bit of cloth. That's dried out again.
That's looking really good, Susie.
Good. I can't remember the name of this. I think it's called scrumbling. I think it's used also in painting houses and things like that. People do it with all sorts, don't they? I think I want a bit more green down here. So you can mess about with it to your heart's content until you get it how you like it. Oops. Watch out for
Really good.
splashes. There we go, yeah. I think that's nice. I'm going to give you a bit of a time because we have to wait for it to dry again, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. So this is what happens with watercolours. You kind of do a layer, then you wait for it to dry, then you do another layer, yeah? So that's just your background. What we have to put on at the end is we have to do the tentacles that come out of here. I'm also going to see what it looks like. I might do an experiment of shards of light coming in from the top of the sea, okay? And then we'd have finished, okay? So I'm going to give you, how long should I give them? A good, oops, 13 minutes and 4 seconds. And we'll see, I'll see if mine's dried, okay, so that I can go on to the next bit, okay? What should she do if she doesn't want it?
Yeah, I think that's right. Blue splashes on my jellyfish.
Right, on your jellyfish, okay. Get a cloth or some kitchen towels, really good. Do it quickly and soak it up, yeah? If it doesn't come off, get a paintbrush with clean water and put just a little bit of water in and then sop it up, yeah?
That's great. Thank you.
I would get yourself some clean water at this time. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to be doing these bits, but much thinner. Sorry, we're going to be doing these bits, but much thinner. Okay, and they're going to come off the edge like that and come down like so. Okay, yeah. So what I've done is I have done a few experiments here. Always good to do it in your sketchbook first. It really is. And I would say have a practice with these, okay, before you start doing them. Okay, so I've got my three colours, which are purple, yellow and orange. Okay, so I'm going to put my brush, I'm going to go into the purple, and so like so, yeah. So I've got water already in my palette and in the actual pigment itself, the actual paint itself, I've got water in it, okay? And so I've got my purple. I'm then going to get just a little tad of yellow, yeah? I'm going to wet my brush again, just dip it in the water. If you get, and you'll have one little drop, yeah? Let's see. I've dipped it in the water. I've had one little drop from it, and so I'm out. I'm using this type brush, which is quite long and thin. I would use a thin brush, and or even better, if you can use a thick brush and not press down on it. The further you press down, the bigger line you have. Okay, I shall show you. So the further you press down, the bigger line you have. Okay, if you lightly touch it, see if I still got pigment. If you lightly touch it, whoops, sorry, just getting it to the right consistency. If you lightly touch it, you'll have a very thin line. If you do it lightly or thick or with more force, press it down, is when you're going to get thicker or thinner lines. Spend those 5 minutes with your sketchbook just practicing these lines that come down, okay, and how watery you have to get your brush, yeah, and what your brush does for you. If you could just spend 5 minutes doing that, it will help a lot, okay, and then we can go on to the main painting. Okay, so when you've had a practice, sorry, clean water. So I know sort of round about how much water I need to get into my brush. And I put water in the palette itself, okay? If it gets dirty, like the white usually does, you just water it and dab it off with a cloth again, okay? So I'm going to do yellow, and I'm going to do a tad of orange in it as well. So if you can see that, probably not with the colour, I've got my whole brush packed with yellow, and then on the tip I've done some orange, okay? I'm going to tip it into my water so that I get a nice lot. Take just that drip off and start from the edges, and of course they go around the back of my first thing. Ooh, here goes. Yeah. And then I'm going to do a purple. And a tip again of orange on it in my water. Okay. And the next one I can have just around about here.
That looks really good.
Okay. Thank you. And oh, I might have an orange one with a purple tip. Okay. This might be interesting. Need just a bit more water. There we go. I'm going to redo this yellow one because yellow isn't very dominant, as is neither is white. Depending on the time, I was going to show you, I was maybe going to do a shaft of light in it, but I just think the time's gone. This is what happens, you see, when you do,
when you're having fun.
Time, and yeah, we're having fun. Don't forget, there's tentacles around the front of it and around the back of it. Okay, so just showing you that before we go. So there's tentacles all the way around the front of it and around the back of it. So the back ones you can do, so you might, you know, you're going to lose some of them, but also it'll make it look more 3D. Well, enjoy. I have really enjoyed doing this. It's great, absolutely marvellous. And I'll see what else I can come up for you.